यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ओम प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. May the Almighty Lord Shri Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, health, wealth and eternal happiness with Paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and the entire your family members and friends. Let us begin Bhagavad Gita. Today we are going to have the summary of 8th chapter. The name of the 8th chapter is known as Akshara Brahma Yoga. Yoga means chapter that we know already. Now what does it mean Aksharam? Aksharam means that which imperishable. The Ishvara is imperishable entity. Now this chapter mainly talks about Krama Mukti. What is Krama Mukti? Krama Mukti. Mukti means liberation, and that liberation means freedom. Kramena Muktihi. Gradually after falling the body, after giving up this human body, the person wants to travel Pitraloka, Swargaloka and Satyadi, all this Brahmaloka Paryantam, the lokas up to Brahmaloka, he wants to have the travel. The journey continues. We think after death everything is completed, but it's not. This person who is very serious of this chapter, the student of this chapter, as we discussed, Bhagavad Gita gives 3 kinds of topics. That first 6 chapter talks about individual person's nature, and the second 6th chapter talks about Ishvara, completely about the Almighty. So when you talk about Almighty, you have to bring all the subject matters. Now these all Upanishads, they speak about the serious sadhakas and serious upasana methodologies. Chandogya Upanishad, he introduces so many methods of upasanas, and even Brihadaranyaka too. These 2 Upanishads are huge Upanishads. Therefore, mainly we stick with 1 or 2 chapters with these Upanishads. Now, especially who is the student, sadhaka of the 8th chapter, the person, one who wants to take life in a serious mode. Okay? Why one should take life in serious mode? Because the mind has got a tendency, a nature to think anything is to achieve, we should struggle. That is our insisted nature, because society has made you have to achieve something, you have to achieve something. It means what? You have to prove something to the world. But finally you will realize, though you want to prove to your people, finally, if you more think subtly, if you want to achieve something, by achieving something, you want to prove yourself. Because in the young age, people have insisted you have to get something, you have to achieve something, you have to stand in the world, you should get settled, you should achieve, and you should become popular. Your name has to be there in the world after even you leave the body. So all these teachings means this kind of encouragements, or we can say, or some kind of insistence, we can say. So all this which was put inside, it has made us to think that life has to be with achievements. Now Ishvara also we bring Ishvara also in this category. We make Ishvara as an achievement. Other chapters of Bhagavad Gita also says Ishvara is to realize in you, but in this chapter Ishvara is given a kind of position. He is far from us, so we have to cross so many lokas, then we can reach him. We make as though it's ultimate destiny. So that destiny should be reached through so many sadhanas. That's what our understanding now. So that person, for him, if you give a solid Vedanta, he won't be satisfied because he is not attracted here and now. We have to have goal that should be far from us. So you should fix the goal. Life should be endowed with the fixed goal. We have to fix the goal. That goal should not be immediate goal. It has to be far away. The goal has to be far away. We have to make effort. We have to struggle. We have to crave. We have to long to get it. And we should cry to get it. We have to make all our system to suffer. Then if we achieve that, we will be satisfied. So that is the motto of this, because there are human beings, they think in this way, they are cultivated so that the upasanas are so given, because the world also has got the systems, because so many lokas you can also travel whether you like or not. If you are not considering any shastric knowledge, you will also set the travel journey, that journey which will kick off you to the lowest worlds. Therefore, if you make the effort, you can fly to higher world and you can take off from there. Now this person, the student of 8th chapter, is known as Saguna Upasakaha. This Saguna Upasakaha is a very serious Saguna Upasakaha. He doesn't have desire towards the world, but he has got the desire to achieve something. That achieving something, he fixed God is the achievement. That is the great achievement. Yes, of course, it's a great achievement, but I have to struggle. I have to make myself, That's the human nature. So not of all. If you are so little bit having that nature to suffer and achieve something, people enjoy that. That enjoyment. So they don't accept God is formless. They struggle. They will become restless. How can you say God is formless? God has got the form, and He is in Vaikuntha, He is in Kailasha, and He is in Golaga Vrindavan. Or we will say, she is in Shripuram. I have to travel. I have to travel and I have to reach. Therefore, they cannot accept God is formless, because the mind is, buddhi and mind is not ready for that. So for those people, this chapter gives a solid message and solid way and understanding about how it is reached. The chapter begins with the question from Arjuna. The Arjuna has the questions. First two shloka. So from Arjuna, he said the question regarding the technical terms which are used in the Vedantas. So Vedanta has got so many technical terms because Vedanta gives the complete knowledge about the Srishti. I tell you, nowhere you will get this complete knowledge about this entire universe, because the Purva Bhaga Vedas also, they give ritualistic aspects, but the Antima Bhaga, which we call it Vedanta, Vedanta means the end portion of Vedas. So ending portion of Vedas are called Vedanta. That ending portion, Antaha, it also has got one more meaning. Antaha means essence. The essence of Vedas. That's what the meaning of Vedanta. Vedanta means what? The essence of Vedas. Essence of means what? A complete knowledge. The knowledge, by studying, you should assimilate. It never leaves any part, a small even part, it should be included. Now Krishna has included this chapter because he doesn't want to leave the subject matter of Upasana which is told by the Upanishads, because Krishna always teaches with the Upanishadic background. Because Upanishads are the main motto, Krishna is very much confirmed, a strong person in that. He asked about technical terms. Every technical terms is a formula. Kim tad Brahma? Kim Adhyatmam? See, Brahma means what? Adhyatma means what? Karma means what? Then Adhibhutam, Adhidaivam, Adhiyajnaha. These 6 questions are completely related to Vedanta. So the last question, Prayana Kale Nyeyaha. Prayana Kale Nyeyaha means Prayana Kale Ishvara Smaranam. That's what he said in the last words, means last chapter, Antakalecha Smaran. So even at the door of death, one can think about me, they can also reach me. So Bhagavan gives a small glimpse of our trick. He plays a small trick to insist the knowledge into the people. Now when you say you can live whatever the way you want to, but at the time of the death you just should remember Ishvara to get liberation. Yeah. So what a easy way for the life. I can have my own lifestyle, but only condition while achieving death I should be with the remembrance or with the thought of Ishvara. So that itself enough to get liberation, means one become enthu. But Bhagavan Krishna will say, see, death cannot be predictable. Okay, so this death will or may take at any point of time. Then you have to be ready for that. If you want to be ready for that, you have to live with that. See, again Krishna brings into the whole lifetime job. This is not that 1 second, 10 seconds job. It's a life process. That's what Krishna's method of teaching. Then people will realize, yes, because we do have only one mind. That one mind also, it works with the process which we impart. It takes long time, So sometimes you might have seen, it's a habitual mistake also is committed by our mind. If your one of the route, so through which you go to office every day, is being converted as a no entry. But every time, at least for 1 month, you go to that no entry, then you see the board, then you return back. So many times it might have happened in a room also. If you change your reading room somewhere else, you will go there. Change your bed, your mind is addicted for habitual things. Therefore, you should know how to use it. This is what the 6 questions are answered by Lord Krishna within 2 shlokas. What he says, what is Brahman? Brahman means imperishable. Adhyatma means what? Individual nature. That's all. Very simple. And karma means what? That which becomes the cause of the individual srishti. Individual srishti means what? Private world. Finish. Very short and sweet answer, but it needs a long time to realize. Sweet answer. Karma means what? That which causes for your own private world creation. It's a beautiful. Then the next words he says, Adhibhutam means what? That which perishes. Whatever you see the object, whatever experienced by you, all of them are known as Adhibhutam. Then Adhidaivam means what? He says Purushaha. That's all. Adhidaivam means Purushaha means Hiranyagarbha. So Hiranyagarbha means there is a power into the perishable objects that doesn't perish. That is imperishable. And one more word, Adhiyajna means Karma Paladhata, and that is called Saguna Ishvaraha. Then he begins from verse number 5, giving answer of the last questions called Antakala Ishvara Smaranam. At the door of death, remembering God. Will it be possible? How will it be possible? If at all it is possible, and what to be done for that? Everything he is just giving one by one. In the 5th verse, he says that definitely if a person gives up his body, he reaches me alone. He assures it. And also he says in the 6th verse, so the fact of the death. So, whatever the bhava, whatever the belief or thoughts or priorities or you have in your mind, you are tied up with, you will continue from the next birth with the same thought, same mind, same object or same object which you are bound with. Therefore, once you come to know the secret of death, you will be very careful, because when you die, so please confirm, you will be given the object which you were thinking about. Therefore, we gave the example of Jadabarada Rishi, who was thinking about his pet animal deer. He became deer in the next Janma. Bhagavata speaks very nicely this story. So, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram tam tameva yeti. It's very important knowledge about death, because death is not the conclusion, it is going to be a very big beginning of next Janma. Therefore, he warns in 7th verse as the Upasana Swarupa. So, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara. Therefore, be endowed with Ishvara Smaranam throughout the life. It's not like, when you are served feast, so we put achar. Achar means pickles in a small amount. For the people, spirituality means like a pickle. It's not main food, it's like a pickle. No, spiritual has to be main food or material, and material can be like a pickle. So that life becomes upside down, it has to be ulta. He says, you have to live life with Ishvara Smaranam. That's the main target. Mayi arpita mano buddhihi asamshayaha mam eva yeshi. If you live your life with the dedication or with given mind to the Ishvara's thought, then that life becomes meaningful. This is known as Upasana Swarupam. In the next verse, in the verse number 8, he begins, 8 to verse number 13, he talks about Upasana Vishaya, Upasana Sadhana, Upasana Vishaya, Upasana Phala. So, all about Upasana. He gives in the 8th chapter, the Abhyasa and Vairagya is the Sahakarini. The Upasana means it's a kind of construction. The construction should be constructed on Abhyasa and Vairagya. Abhyasa means it has to be continuous practice, and Vairagya means complete maturity with the worldly, materialistic the world. See, this materialistic world is eye-catching to the person. That person cannot be a Upasaka. Could you understand what I say? To be a Upasaka, he should have got Vairagya. Vairagya means Vigata Ragaha. He should have the dispassion towards worldly things. And in the 9th verse, so given object for meditation. Upasana is also is a Manasika Vyaparaha meditation. The glory of Ishvara to be thought or to be brought in the meditation, because 6th chapter also talks about the meditation. In the 6th chapter, it was completely Vedantic meditation, but here it is completely a different kind of meditation, because all Ishvara's glory with attributes are given. Kavim, Puranam, Anusasitaram. So all these things are said in the verse number 9, and verse number 10 talks about Prayojana and operation of Upasana. Bhrvor Madhye means the point is given. Any the Shadhadara can be fixed, but especially Bhrvor Madhye, he should concentrate. The meditator should concentrate between eyebrows, and there he should bring all the pranic energy. Then he can contemplate on the Ishvara, that Ishvara which is said in the Upanishads, then that is known said in the verse number 11. Then verse number 12 and 13 gives a solid operation, means the method. The method to sit, the method to concentrate, and bringing Om as a Pratima, Pratika Alambana, and this is known as Saguna Brahma Upasana. Then the 14th words, it talks about Krama Mukti Stuti. It prices Krama Mukti. Krama Mukti means what? Gradual liberation. Then from verse number 15 onwards up to verse number 22nd, the all worlds, not only earth. So the 14 words are anityam. Even Brahmaji's life also has got an end. Therefore, you need to get Vairagya. That is what Vairagya Upaya. Vairagya Upaya means. So seeing the reality, the real reality of this materialistic world, one can get the ultimate Vairagya. Then he talks again about Akshara Purushaha, the verse number 22nd. Then he talks about two kinds of marga. After death, there are two kinds of departures. Those departures are valid in this Upasana. So one among them is known as Shukla Margaha. By traveling or through traveling which one can reach ultimate Ishvara. There he will get liberation. That is glorified in the last verse. In the 28th verse, it is glorified. Thus, the 8th chapter has been completed. Now we are entering into 9th chapter. Let us begin. Atha Navamodhyayah Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yogaha Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Tute Kuhyatamam Pravakshyamyana Suyave Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajñatva Mokshase Shubhat. Bhashikara says, Ashtame Nadidvarena Dharana Yogaha Sagunaha Uktaha Tasya Phalamapi Uktam. So, in the 8th chapter, so Yoga Marga have been explained. Again, we are bringing Vedantic knowledge, which was began in the 7th chapter. Again, there is no question at all from Arjuna. God continues. When he continues, so he begins the topic from his side. So, idam guhyatamam jnanam vijnana sahitam aham te vakshyami. And yajñatva ashubhat mokshase. He gives the assurance. I am going to tell you that king among all the secrets, by listening, by knowing which you will get rid of all samsara. Hey, non-critical one. The adjective is anasuyave. This anasuyave means people translate as a person who is not having jealousy. No, it's not the meaning. It's a tendency of a character who doesn't find fault others' activity, not finding loopholes from others. Now, a student, you require the student who doesn't find fault from Guru's teaching, who is endowed with open minded. That open mind is needed for Vedantic study, because when you have intellectual arrogance means when Guru begins to teach, at that time you may have the doubt whether he knows the subject matter or not. I don't think by having physical appearance, means by judging by physical appearance, by judging with his grammatical mistakes, by judging with his way of teaching, so continuing with the doubtful attitude is known as asuya. Now, anasuya means not having these kind of deficiencies as doshaha. So, accepting Guru as the Ishvara alone and keeping open mind for shastric knowledge And when Shastra says there is Swarga, there are Krama Mukti, immediately you should not laugh at. These are all bluff. So I cannot accept. I will accept Brahman because it is nothing but my own nature. No. You are not able to understand it doesn't mean that it is not fact. Now, what Upanishad talks about, everything is fact, but I don't have the range to understand that. So I accept it, I will wait and I will get to know in a time. That's what the attitude one should have with this chapter, means this content. Therefore, Arjuna had that open mind, so that Krishna says, I will teach you the knowledge which has two kinds of aspects, lower aspects and higher aspects. You should remember para prakriti and apara prakriti. Now God is continuing the same subject from the 7th chapter. I think you should have little bit recollection about the 7th chapter. That's your homework. He says, idam guhyatamam, that which is very rarest. This knowledge is very rare because it has got one kind of tendency. It remains a secret forever. When you understand, so then also you could feel that it continues to be a secret even after. Because any secret, once it is revealed, it becomes no secret. But this secret, it remains as the secret. What kind of secret it is? So he talks about it in the next words. That we will continue from the next session tomorrow. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.